Thanks for tuning in to the Animal Control Report podcast, where we help debunk the dog catcher stereotype. A lot of times people think it's the dog catcher when they hear about animal control officers, but here on the Animal Control Report, we change that by taking you inside the day-to-day operations of animal control officers. Not only will you hear stories of animal control officers, but you'll hear from industry experts as well. We are also part of the Keep It Humane podcast network. We have some amazing partners there, so check them out at keepithumane.com/podcast network. You can listen to all the animal control and animal welfare related podcasts there. And let's continue to help people help animals.
Look who it is. If you're watching on YouTube, it's a kitten and Wisconsin Bishop. So she is no longer, I forget what you were doing last week, but it wasn't with cattle. I think you were, is she a mechanic now? Like you have like so many hats.
I didn't even get a chance to listen. It's been so crazy busy with the kids in
I
the theater.
know. I don't remember. I don't even remember. This week was nuts.
I want to ask our listeners a favor. If you haven't done so already, if you haven't, please leave a review, share this thing. If you leave a review and then you send me an email, I will send you a patch from an animal control agency as a token of our appreciation, and maybe some other gifts. So that is a open invitation. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Send your review to Daniel at Keep It Humane, and you get a gift. Please check out Tomahawk Live Chat. They're celebrating their 100th year in business this year. Family-owned and operated business who work with humane professionals around the world to produce the safest and most effective animal handling equipment available. You can save 10% on their products by using discount code Keep It Humane. I say it that way because that's Keep It Humane in all caps. Visit them at livetrap.com or call them at 800-272-8727. Woo! What is up? What is up? What is up, Bishops?
Oh
Just
my
more
God.
crazy weeks, I feel like. It just hasn't slowed down. And, just God.
And it's going to keep getting busy. Also, wait, real quick, stop.
Oh.
They don't love you like I love you. Wait, it's Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. Shout out to all the ACOs doing their thing. We do 100% appreciate you. We know the work that you're doing is not easy. So thank you again for all the people that participated in I don't even know what you call it, the Random Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week sign up, where multiple agencies, over 70, participated in sending each other cards and maybe a little bit of gifts. I can't wait to see how that turns out. I'm really excited. So thank everyone for participating in that.
And don't forget, everybody is probably celebrating Dispatcher Appreciation Week, but you guys,
that's cool too. That's cool too.
Yes, and they're absolutely needed, and they help keep everybody safe. Not putting them down by any means, but legit, it's about you too.
Somebody's on mute, but that's okay. She's cute when she talks, and there's nothing coming out of her mouth.
Sorry. Okay. It's also apparently National Dog Bite Week.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Oh.
Because who else is going to get after those dogs but the ACOs? Man, we got a doozy for y'all today. We got a story about a date that I went on. Yes.
Oh, hell.
I'm keeping it real in this is Keep It Humane, but it's also, we've been with y'all for like 5 years. You should know a little bit of personal stuff about me. Why not? Why not?
Probably know more about us than you want to know in some aspects.
And let's be honest, dating stories are the best. I don't know. Maybe we tell it at the end of the show, because you're not going to want to miss it. But this episode is absolute. So it's like Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, and I was going through my brain, and I'm like, I have one of my favorite calls ever of all time. This is when I worked for the city and county of Denver, so quite a few years ago, and I wanted to share it and get your take on that, because it's it blew my mind. It's one of those. Have you ever watched the television series Black Mirror?
Yes.
No.
This has a Black Mirror vibe to it.
Oh God.
Yeah, it hits.
That's terrifying, to be honest. That
It,
show will mess with your head.
I know, and that's why I think this is one of my favorite cases of all time. I got to
And now
put.
I have a new show to watch. Thank you.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
All right. For those that don't know, yeah, I'm single. I'm the only single one on this stupid podcast. Even though the podcast isn't stupid, I'm the stupid one. I just meant that.
It has to do with us being bishops. I'm
Yes.
gonna go with that.
Here I am, just a pawn in the single, and I've been single for like a couple years. Shout out to all the single peeps that are listening.
I thought he was gonna say shout out to my exes.
Shout out to my exes. No, hey, I'm not a hater, man. I still have love. And I've met some women organically, which is great. But that's the way to go. And honestly,
Yes.
Texas Bishop always says just like drop the app, and I'm about to really just drop the app after this. So this is Hinge. Hinge, if you don't know, I better ask somebody.
One of the worst apps out there, Dan.
Is it really?
Yes.
I don't know why. I thought Tinder is the worst one.
Mhm. For men, it can be, but
Because I thought Tinder was just like the hookup site. Yo, bro.
From what I know, it's Hinge that's the hookup site.
What? What?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, okay. So we're not going to get into any of that. But so I met this nice woman, and uh, we had a couple conversations. So first off, it was 20 questions through text, and I'm like, God, do we have to do the 20 questions through text? Like, I'm happy to let's have a phone conversation. Well, let's go I call it the proverbial interview because you go and get coffee. Like, that's the thing. Like, the first date is like, let's just go and get coffee. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I go and I bring my resume and I bring my note taking thing because it's like, if we're going to sit down at a coffee shop, that's what it feels like.
Did you bring Mooney? That's important.
No, I didn't bring money. No, we actually,
that's
end up
probably your problem.
we actually went to a speakeasy,
Oh.
which was cool. And okay, she was a few minutes late, but she had, she called and she was like, "Hey, I'm a few minutes late." But then she like kept me on the phone while she was trying to find parking. And I'm like, "Bro, we're good. Like, I'll be right here." And she was like, "Oh, you're just gonna wait. You're not gonna like come walk me from my car." And I'm like, Here we
No,
go.
how dare you?
Here
Oh.
we go." I was like, "This is it." I wanted to wait to the end of the show, but I just got to get this off my chest. I can't. So I was like, I was like, shit, where did my chivalry go? I swear I've had it before. And so I walk over to where I think she's parking and she parks. Do you want to know one of the first things this girl says to me?
Oh no.
You DTF?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Pump the brakes there, Texas.
Are you no kill? Are you working for a no kill shelter?
Wow, pump the brakes there. Well, it's funny. It's funny she mentions that, people, because we've had some conversations offline and I've dated some women in our industry and there's been some straight up advocates for sure. And that's probably not going to work out. And like, okay, so it was a very casual date. Like, she's in jeans and a
Wait, so
sweater.
what did she say to you?
I'm getting there. I'm setting it up.
Okay.
She's in jeans and a sweater. She looks great. She looks great. I compliment her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm in jeans and also a sweater, but I have on Cloud tennis shoes on, which are expensive and comfortable AF. I don't know if you know Cloud shoes, but yeah, they're not cheap and they're not uncomfortable. And she goes, "You're wearing tennis shoes?" I was like, "Oh, here we go. Really?
Wow.
You're wearing, like, you don't own a pair of nice shoes?" I was like, "These are nice." I was like, "They're comfortable. I like them on my feet, and they're probably more expensive than many you know, what would you call those? Like,
Are they Hoka expensive?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Hoka. They're Hoka expensive. They're not cheap shoes." And she's like, "You're wearing tennis shoes? Like, you didn't have a nice pair of shoes to wear?" And I was like, "Oh, ooh, ooh." So we get to the speak easy, and it's fun. Like, and there's a little bit of like back and forth, like playfulness, which I always look forward to in dates, right? You want to have that like kind of flirtatious vibe. And there's a difference though. There's a difference of her being like serious about like the shoes and the parking and then some playfulness. So we get to the door to speak easy and you have to like it's almost like a clue room where you have to like find the thing, twist the knob, knock on it, do an upside down, sideways, backflip. Like it's crazy. So we finally get the bouncer to answer the door. Super nice dude, and he lets us in. But then you're in the waiting room thing. Then you have to go through the next door, and then you have to answer a series of questions about like in 1933. No, it wasn't that crazy. But so the next door finally opens, and positioning wise, I just walked through the door, and she's like, "Oh, you went through the door first?" I was like, "Oh my god, this is what."
This is when you text pineapples, and then one of us will call and say, Dan, we're getting eaten by a dog. We need your help.
Yes.
Give you my work cell and be like, just call to work cell. Oh, call to work cell.
So
So,
again, just pineapples. That's all we need.
oh my
We'll make
gosh.
something up.
And then so we're in there for like we're in there for a good bit. And I was like, look, it's loud, like loud speakeasy, good music, but like a lot of people, and it's small. It's like it's small. And I was like, hey, like would you down to go like take a walk? Like I'm kind of introverted, and so this is a little bit overwhelming after a long period of time. Like I can be in it for a little bit, but I can also like get overstimmed on it. And she's like, you're introverted? Well, I'm extroverted. I don't know how that's gonna work. And I'm just like,
It was great meeting you. Goodbye.
I'm extroverted. My husband's introverted. It works just fine.
It
We've been
can
married
work. And like just
15 years.
crazy stuff. Like we were talking about different things, and I'm like, yeah, like one of my bucket list travel places is Cairo. And she's like, okay, so like when do you want to go? And I'm like, well, I don't. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, hold on, Mooney's giving his feedback right now.
Sugar. She's looking for a sugar daddy. That's what's
Mooney?
happening.
Oh, she
Not
is.
Mooney,
Yeah, she
she
is. Yeah. She 100%. But like homegirl, I'm not even gonna put it out there. She's wealthy. I'm not gonna say what she does just because I don't want to like identify. I don't know. But I was like, it basically turned into like she was trying to rush love, like rush this relationship to be like, that's the theme that I got. She's like, I just need to love somebody. And I'm like, girl, and then to top it off, to top it off, this is the last piece of this. And then we're done with this dating shit. I'm just done. I'm a freaking be a single dog dad and a dad to my daughters, and then I'm just gonna love myself. I feel like that's gonna be a country music song.
Oh God, don't start singing.
I'll save you. So here's the last but not least thing. Okay, this is when I was like, I slept on it. I was just like, let me sleep on it. You just never know. Let me just sleep on it. So like the next morning I wake up and ladies and gentlemen, I passed my motorcycle safety course. I will be on two wheels here. I'm really excited. But I went,
Nice.
so I got really excited or anxious, and I was able to take the written test yesterday morning. And in case I failed it, I could come back Sunday and retake it. So I was like, let me just get that out the way. So I did that in the morning, hung out there for a few hours with some of the other classmates, and then did a couple errands, came home, walked. Me and Mooney went on like a 2.5 hour walk in Huntington Beach. It was gorgeous. Like it was so fun. And then like I came home and I just crashed out. I haven't been sleeping well. Texas Bishop and I were talking about that offline. Like, and so I took a nap and I woke up and then I get a text from her and she's like, hey, how's your day? I was like, it was good. How's your day? And she's like, and then she didn't answer how her day was. She answered, I expected to hear from you before 4 o'clock. I was just like, done.
Wow.
Done.
Jesus. How old is this? Oh, okay, hold on. How old is this person?
48.
Yeah, no. Run.
Ran. I said, thank you. I was like, thank you. Thank you for your time last night. It was really nice to meet you. I don't know if I said good luck or anything like that. I was just like, it was just really nice to meet you. Take care or something like that. And then she wrote back with another, like, trying to get me to answer a question. I was like, delete. I didn't even answer it. I was like, I said my piece. I'm done. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Get off them dating apps.
I'm sorry, but that's too wise to be toxica at that point. Like,
Mm,
mm-mm,
mm-hmm,
ma'am,
No.
mm-mm.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I
I
mean, I'm sure she's probably also sitting there going, I'm getting older, like I want to find the one, so she's rushing it,
100%.
but
Yeah, like rushing it. Her pedal was to the metal. Like, I don't think there was anything she didn't know about me after night one. She asked me every question you could imagine. Like, I think she knew my blood type, my mother's maiden name, my social security, like everything. I felt
and now
violated.
you're gonna get hacked.
Well, she's listening to the show, which I don't think she doesn't know I do this, so that's good. But if she is, it was nice to meet you, and good luck in your dating adventures. I am going to start a challenge on Instagram where I'm just not going to go on dating apps, and I'm going to ask a woman for their number once a day, every day until I meet a girlfriend, and that'll be my new trend on Instagram. That's I feel like that's an Instagram thing. I'm not doing that.
I was gonna say that's not helping the cause.
That's
It's making it
gonna make
worse.
you the creep.
I'm not
Ay,
doing that.
ay,
Let's get
ay.
into this case, people.
There's gonna
Also,
become an I hate Daniel Ettinger club along with the I hate Tabitha fan club.
yeah, well, there's
I'm
already
sure.
an I hate Daniel Ettinger
I was
fan
gonna
club.
say there's probably something we've never seen before. It's
I'm
probably out there.
I'm sure. Single
Or we should
listeners, single ladies, if you're listening, it's Daniel at keepithumane.com. But in all seriousness, I got to get into my favorite case of all time. People are like, "What's your favorite case?" Or "What's the craziest thing you ever had?" So I'm going to be removing some names intentionally from this, but I'm also going to read a little bit from my affidavit, my sworn statement, if you will. This is great case. So this is when I was in Denver, and we'll pause, please, if y'all questions, comments, just jump in with that. On January 27th, 2022, at approximately 1925 hours, so that's 7:30 p.m. Just really quick, our shift ended at 9, so at 7:30 p.m. We received a call to report a dog being beaten inside an address of 5190 Broadway Street. I won't go into the unit number, and that's in Denver, Colorado. It is public housing there. I, Officer Daniel Ettinger, badge number 306 with Denver Animal Protection, called and spoke to the reporting party. He stated that he was riding an elevator with an unknown individual, male and female. The reporting party heard the male say to the female, "Wait until you see what the dog did to the house." Wait until you see what the dog did to the house. So there was some concern. Now, the reporting party exited the elevator after both the male and female, they got off on the same floor. They walked in the same direction, and the male and female entered their apartment. His apartment was just 2 doors down. The male stated that was when he heard what sounded like a dog colliding with the wall and a dog yelping, which made it sound like he was being hit. The reporting party heard what sounded like hitting noises and the dog yelping and crying immediately after those sounds. The reporting party could hear from his apartment, which again was a few doors down. He said he went into the hallway to call dispatch to report the incident and could hear more hitting and yelping. He claimed the incident occurred for almost 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to pause really quick because I talk about this all the time. My theme in this profession is we complete and not close calls. Okay, that is the theme of this case, and that is the theme of my career. We complete and not close calls. I'm sure I've closed a few calls in my time, but we complete calls. We don't close them. So he calls the dispatcher, and then he sees the woman that he saw in the elevator leave that apartment breathing heavily. She walked to the elevator wearing shorts and a tank top. He did not see the male party leave um, the property. So he calls and he's like, "Damn, like it was rough." And I remember when I called or when I got the call from dispatch, they also confirmed that they heard what he heard, like so they could hear it over his phone through their
That is fantastic, by the way.
because then it's on recording too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like to anybody that is doing dispatch on a recorded line out there, like I want to just throw this out there. Tell the caller, like, hey, can you go near the wall to see if I can hear it? Like, encourage the people to do that.
And also put in your call
Because,
notes too, because that's also helpful.
huh?
Put it in the call notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it in the call notes. Put it over the radio too, because if they can't read the call notes or whatever, um, because it's really hard on our end if we don't have some kind of proof. So,
Absolutely. So I get there at about 8:10. Okay. So call came in at what, 7, what did I say, 7:30, 7:25. At 8:10. Now remember, I got 50 minutes to go. 50 minutes to go till my shift's over, right? I arrived at the address.
close it up.
Close it. Don't complete that. Close it. I stood in front of the unit. I got into the building and stood in front of the apartment for approximately 1 minute. And I did that intentionally. Why would I do that?
To listen quietly to see what you can hear.
Yep, exactly. So I just stood there and I just let the scene kind of tell me if I could hear anything. And I could. I mean, there's TV on, etc. So I heard people talking in the unit. Television was on very loudly. I waited for a pause in the sound from the TV, and then I knocked on the door and introduced myself. The TV turned down, and the voices inside the unit became quiet. I heard what sounded like something being drug from the kitchen floor. Like it was significant. It was weird. I was like, "What the fuck is going on inside?"
That's crazy.
I knocked on the door and announced myself several times for approximately 10 minutes. I could see the peephole shadow. If you've never seen that, it's when somebody looks through the peephole. And I might have said things like, "Oh, no one must be in there because the TV automatically turned off by itself. That's amazing." Very, very condescending. "Oh, wow, like everybody must be gone." So I
I
had it
have never thought about doing that, but that is hilarious.
all the time. I would do it all the time. I'd be like, "Oh, I guess no one's there because the TV was on when I got, maybe there was a timer on the TV and it just turned off all by itself."
Assistant supervisor has a PD knock is what I like to call it. Like
Oh, yeah.
people come to that, like she's been doing it long enough. There's no bullshit.
I know that's right. So now I'm at this decision phase. Okay, so here's all I have. This is all I have for probable cause. Actually, what do I have for probable cause? Let me ask you.
Well, you've got the recording of the noises. You have very little else. You know
I
that
was gonna
somebody is in
say.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it in our jurisdiction, and not a lot.
Yeah.
Here's what I settled on. And I didn't mention this as I was reading my narrative here. I never heard a dog bark. But what I did hear is something that was large being dragged across the kitchen floor or right in front of the door. That's what I heard. That's all I heard. Nothing else. That's it. So I was like, well, I'm going to throw this to the wall and see what sticks. So I called our reporting party back and I said, "Hey, no one's answering the door. I have some concerns." And I want to say this because this really resonated with me. Sometimes when you talk to reporting parties, you're like, "All right." And then other times you're like, "Oh, like, all
Hmm.
right." Like you could tell this person was really shaken up. Like they
And they
were.
gave a lot of really good detail.
Hmm. Hmm. But they were so like you could just hear it in their like tone. They were shaken up. They were like, "This is not cool." And so I said, "Look, I don't know if this is going to work, but are you willing to write a statement? I need a written statement. I need you to go on record. And here's why. Because if you do, I will use that as my probable cause to try to get a search warrant." And they thought about it. They said, "Can I talk it over with my wife? We're 2 doors down from these people. They saw me get off the elevator with them. Like, I'm concerned." I was like, "Sure, take your time." Not really take your time, but take your time. I was like, I'll call you back in a few minutes." And so as I did that, I waited maybe 5 minutes. And I think he called back and was like, "I'll do it." Perfect. So I said, here's what we're going to do. Give me that statement. Now I'm in a predicament. I'm inside of a very multi unit apartment building. And there's multiple exits and entrances. It's 8 now. At this point, it's like 8:30, 8:45. There's no other ACO on duty at the department. Um, and maybe I should have called one of them earlier and just said, "Hey, y'all should come to this." But I'm a Capricorn. We do things by ourselves. Uh, so I was like, "Well, what would you do now in this situation? Like, I've made the decision that I'm going to apply for a search warrant at 8:45 at night, 8:30 at night.
Did the
PD assistance.
There it is. Absolutely.
did the reporting party say anything about children in the home?
No,
Okay.
it's a good question though.
I think I would have asked that because that would have
Who's in the
been
home? Do you know who's in the home? Yeah.
yeah, only because we all know what it can be like to work with PD. Now I think you had a better relationship with the PD, but
You're cute.
no? I thought you
So I called for Denver police to
Oh.
hold the scene as I made sure no one left the apartment while I wrote my affidavit. At approximately 20-30 hours, 2 Denver police officers came to the scene. And I will, to this day, and I will never forget this case, but I wish I could show you on video right now how this one officer walked up to me. It was the most dismissive and disrespectful interaction I ever had with a police officer. And I've had some interaction with a police officer, both professionally and personally. He literally was like, "So why are we here?" Like he was like, "My shift ends at 10, so I'm trying to get this over and done with as soon as possible, dude." I was just like, I looked around like, what just happened? And his partner, she was cool, but she was just kind of quiet. And I explained to him what you were just trying to say. I was like, "Look, man, um, I got a report of this. Like, I'm gonna go. You don't need to do anything, but just hold the scene. If you can make contact and get in the property while I'm down in my truck, just call me on my cell. Here's my cell, and then I'll come right up and we'll do the investigation. Otherwise, I'm gonna do this. Affidavit." And he was so like, it was literally, I was shocked. There was no, like, what do they call that? Professional courtesy at that time. And it was hurtful because I know the difficulties that we all deal with. And not all police are like this.
No.
Yeah. It was, it was a one-off thing. And you got to just stay tuned to the end though. Cause like I'm telling you, Black Mirror shit, people. This is
It's just, it sucks. It sucks that you went through that. And I'm sorry you went through that because we all know, like we all know we get the dismissive officer who doesn't realize that he's also there for our safety because we have a catch pole, like I just sometimes I think they forget that. Like, while we do have a badge, we don't have a badge that's looked upon like theirs.
correct.
So it's kind of sad that they can't see beyond the inconvenience that they're actually there to help protect you while you do your job.
Yep.
And maybe he had a date with his mistress at 10:05, and that's why he was trying to like, I don't know, bro, or like his mister, I don't know. Like, it's 2025, who knows what homie's into, but like he was absolutely like, it made me mad. So I was like, I'm gonna show you then. All right. So he was like, "How long is it going to take?" So this is about, 30 hours, 8:30. Remember, my show's done at 9. And I'm trying to, like, I don't want to be out late either, but my shift's done at 9. His is done at 10. Like, chill out. So he's like, "How long is it going to take?" And I said probably like 40 minutes. I was off by a little bit, but not too much. So I went to my truck to write my affidavit, to get a warrant to check on the animals in the apartment. When I did that, now here, so I already knew what I was dealing with this cop. If we didn't have a key to enter that building, that unit, there was no flipping way we were getting in with that cop. There's no way. He was like, I'm going in there. What do you think I did? While I'm in the process of doing everything else, I'm writing this warrant, sending it to the judge. Shout out to the judge.
Call the landlord.
Yeah, pretty much. So what I did, as I know it's an apartment building, I Googled the address and I got the number to the building because I knew a building of that size would have a emergency number for after hours. So I call and you have to leave a message, which makes me mad because I'm like, I'm gonna talk to somebody. Within 2 minutes, well, it might. I'm sorry if I'm getting ahead of myself when I read my statement. I might or I might not have put it in there. I'm not sure. Um, but within 2 minutes, the emergency maintenance person called me back, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm in the process of securing a warrant to get into this unit number. Are you able to meet us here so we don't have to like bust down the door?" Even though he knew we weren't busting, or he didn't know we weren't going to bust down the door. He was like, "Yeah, man, I love dogs. I love them. I'll be there like 15, 20 tops." So I was like, "Cool, perfect." So the warrant,
Love and excited RP.
I know, me too. So the warrant process there, what I did, um, yeah, I was there for a while, so I kind of started to learn the tricks. So I called police dispatch and I was like, "Hey, who's the on-call judge?" And they gave me that person's name. And so I basically called and he was like, "Hey, email it over." He's like, "Before you do, just can you raise your right hand?" And I say this all the time. I'm like, "Look, even though it's on the phone and they can't see you, raise your hand because they can see you. Judges they just know. They have this thing. They have this thing. So raise it. Raise it. I put that thing to the sky. I was like, I am raising my right hand as high as I can be. So he reads it over, calls me back. He's like, "It's approved, signed, you're good to go." So at about 22:15, so 10:15 now. So now that one cop is on overtime. Sorry, buddy. Um, I met the maintenance person in the lobby, and I was like, "Here's what we're gonna do." So we go upstairs. We knock on the door several times again and announced ourselves. We explained that we have a warrant to enter the property to check on the animal's welfare. After approximately 2 minutes of banging on the door, the maintenance man opened the door and moved out of the way. Um, when he did that, from about 20 feet away in a bedroom, the man and woman are standing, holding a toddler. So thank you very much, Ashley, Wisconsin Bishop.
Ashley, Wisconsin Bishop. Our new names are going to be Ashley, Wisconsin Bishop, and Ashley, Texas Bishop.
Ashley, it's your new middle names. You're just gonna have to go get that corrected.
Sorry.
And I'm like looking at the cop that had the attitude. I'm like, "Are you gonna do anything, Dick? Like, this is your job. This ain't my fucking job. Like, there's two potential suspects in the house 20 feet away. Like, they could have, I know they're holding a toddler, but like, hello, like, are you gonna tell them to come here, see their hands, any of that?" And my man's just like, he's just like a deer in headlights. So I was like, come, I was like, come come to the door or get away from the room. Like I don't know how to do that. I'm not a police officer. I'm like, "Show us your hands." It felt so foreign. That is not me. Like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, "Show me your hands, like come to the door."
At
And I'm
least
like,
you didn't whistle to them or something. Like,
"Sure."
come here.
And I'm like, this cop, man, like he really is off duty at 10 o'clock. I was like, this motherfucking
I'd love it.
guy. So one of the things that I could tell right away is there was a strong smell of urine and feces. There was a large trash bag, grocery carts, and various items near the front door. Inside the apartment was very unkempt, and there were miscellaneous items strewn throughout. And there'll be photos if you're interested in seeing the video stuff. I'll just slap photos through, so you'll see some photos pop up here and there on YouTube if you're watching. Male and female finally exited the bedroom. The woman identified herself as a name, and I'm not even going to say the name because I want to keep it anonymous. And the man said he was John Smith. I'll just say that because let's be honest here, John Smith. The crazy part, and here's where we're getting into it. I recognized the woman. I was like, "I fucking know you," but
That's
I
the
couldn't
worst.
tell who she was. I couldn't remember who she was. She claimed that we never met. She stated that I met her sister, but wouldn't give me her name or the location of where her sister lived.
Fantastic.
So I continue to search the property while I'm just trying to rack my brain, like, where the fuck do I know you from? The kitchen had several items on the counter and floor along with baby toys. I classified the kitchen as a 4 out of 5, so a 4 or 5 out of 9 on the clutter image rating scale. If you're not familiar, shoot me an email, Daniel at keepithumane.com, and I'll send you that clutter image rating scale. 1 is basically my house. 9 is extremely deplorable. My house is not a 1. It's probably like a 2, maybe a 2.5. There was a bedroom which appeared to be for a child, and there was no bed, just a television and some miscellaneous items in the room was clean other than a few stains on the carpet. The living room was unkempt and a 3 out of 9 on that clutter image rating scale. The bathroom was in very poor condition with clothing, trash, appliances. They had like one of those like small unit washer and dryers in there or washers in there and other items packed into that room. It was a 7 out of 9 on that image rating scale. There was another bedroom that appeared to be where everyone slept, including the child. There was a young girl, maybe 1 to 2 years old, asleep on a bed with no sheets, people, because that's how hoarding houses are. There's always no sheets on the bed. It's like an 80% success rate of no sheets. There were several piles of trash in the room, and there were some miscellaneous items on the bed as well. There was a door next to the kitchen that appeared to be a closet. I opened that door, and the smell of urine and feces was extremely strong. I saw a total of 4 dogs in that closet. 3 medium-sized dogs were in one large dog crate, a wire crate, and then there was 1 dog loose in the closet. I would say the closet was approximately 10 to 20 square feet. It was not that big. It was very warm in there too. The woman claimed ownership of all 4 dogs. So you had a 6-year-old black and brown Australian Shepherd mix, a 3-year-old intact female gray and white pit bull mix, a 1-year-old intact male black and white border collie mix, and a 3-year-old intact female black and white Labrador mix. The closet had several areas of feces on the floor, which appeared to have been walked, sat, slept on by the dogs, as it was flattened, my favorite word, encrusted into the floor. The dog that was loose in the room appeared in good health, but had a few fresh wounds on his chin where it appeared to be a wound on his left elbow as well. There were 2 holes in the wall, approximately the size of a softball, and the trim around the door had been significantly chewed. There was no water in the room, and the dogs, again, those 3 dogs were inside the crate. There was no bottom on it as well, so it was just wires. The crate was tied with a pink leash, so the dogs could not escape it. Those wounds were enough right there so when I did the affidavit, and I can get to that, I can actually say what I requested on there. It was, here, let me actually go there really quick. Let's see if I have it popped up. We can get there quick. I just want to, excuse me, highlight what I was asking to impound, because this is very important when you're doing your warrants. Animals to be seized: all animals that are alive, deceased, unborn, or nursing, which appear injured, neglected, or cruelly treated. Any photos, videos taken. So why would I put that neglected portion in there?
Why would you?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why would you too? And also, why wouldn't you put all healthy?
Good question. It's a good
I
question.
don't know the answer to that.
With the healthy aspect, it's a good question. Any of our listeners have thoughts on the healthy piece, please send us a message at podcast@keepithumane.com. The reason I put what I wanted to do was make sure that if there were, because I know cruelty and negligence are one and the same. Excuse me. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything.
Loophole is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
If I didn't put negligence, then I couldn't take those dogs in the wire crate. Right?
Get it. Got it.
Cruelty aspect, the dog that had the marks on him, what looked like blunt force trauma, that matched what the RP stated, right? There was some sort of struggle, or not struggle, what's the word I'm looking for? Beating, if you will. So that's why.
Conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, the healthy aspect kind of throws me off because I don't know, like, where's your probable cause if it's healthy?
Well, I think with that, my partner, she always, at the end of the day, if you're going to go in and remove everything, you want to remove everything at once
Hmm.
rather than having to go through and write another seizure for those healthy animals if you're wanting to get them all removed.
And we talked
And
about case law, People versus Spiegel, which allows you to remove all animals if one has been treated cruelty or cruel or negligent.
Yeah, I think loophole again,
Yeah.
it's just to ensure that you get all the animals off so you're not having to go back to write another warrant for possible neglect later on.
Hmm.
So you can just remove them for the property now. If they win them back, then, you did what you
there's
could.
also a good chance that you're gonna lose them. People hide them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
100%.
Um, and just because they appear healthy doesn't mean that they don't have any other evidence, that you
True.
can find through full body x-rays or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There could be old fractures, all that stuff. Yeah. So I asked the woman again where I knew her from, but she continued to claim we never met. I asked the officer if he verified her name. Guess what he said?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. So I remember this pretty vividly. Remember I told you the maintenance worker was super excited to like come out and help, and the dogs were
Hmm.
so friendly with people uh, because there were four of them. I took those dogs down pretty quick while so we can get him out of the building. And he helped me walk down. I gave him a leash and like he helped me walk down one of the dogs, came back,
Nice.
got the other two, and then so we just knocked that out pretty quickly. And so when I came back up, I just remember saying like, "Hey, what's her name? Like, did you get her name?" To the cop, and he told me the name, and then he said the name John Smith, and I like looked at him, and I was like, "Did you run those names? Like, did you verify, bro? Like, doesn't that seem a little like what's the word I'm thinking? Like,
Suspicious?
yeah,
Sus.
yeah, a little sus." And he was like, "That's." Then he was like, he was like, "What is your name?" And he was like, "If you don't tell me your name, like I'm gonna have to like take you down to the station. We'll have to do like fingerprint you." And like he's just, that typical cop. So she looked at him. He was like, "Are you sure you don't have your ID? Like I need your name and your social so I can run it." And then she says her name. And the moment she says her name, the
Bing.
light bulb went off. And I was like, that is crazy. Black Mirror moment. I was like, no flipping way. That's why Shane answered her door. She saw me through the peephole and she was like, he found me again. So I immediately recalled an incident with this woman for two dead dogs that apparently died in her car in July of 2021. So again, that was July of 2021. This is January of 2022. So what is that?
Jeez.
6 months.
Yeah.
She was issued a general violation summons for 2 counts of disposal of dead animals and 2 counts of cruelty, animals prohibited inside of a vehicle, and then neglect as well. Um, it was insane that just popped up. I asked her why she had all four dogs in the closet, and she couldn't give me an answer. She seemed to talk in circles by saying that some of the dogs didn't belong to her after she already claimed ownership, by the way. She seemed
Let me
distracted.
guess, were they the toddler's dogs?
she
Yeah,
seemed
were they the
distracted.
2-year-olds?
She seemed distracted and aloof.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, that's the worst.
Um, all the dogs were covered in urine and feces and had long nails. Three of the dogs in the crate appeared to be underweight. Nothing was like major on the body condition system, but they were maybe
Hmm.
3.5s. Like they
Hmm.
weren't too bad. And they couldn't move around. They couldn't get comfortable in that crate. There was an empty and dry bowl in the crate. I asked the suspect um, about the report that we received that somebody hit the dog in the apartment. She denied anything happened. The man who identified himself as John Smith appeared dazed and did not answer any questions directly. He just claimed he didn't know anything.
Mm.
So I impounded all four dogs and issued summons as well. I gave her what we call a extension of impoundment or cost of care for $1,580, which had to be paid within 10 days, or the animals would have been lost. Um, I transported the dogs back to the shelter. And before I get any further in that with the examination, I want to go to the case of the dead dogs, because this is all tied together. Like, it's this behavior pattern that we see with people in their animals. Um, Neglect doesn't just stop, right? Like, if we're not doing any
Mhm.
sort of intervention. And so, as I go through, there's a case that actually happened after I'm gone, which is pretty wild to me. It happened in 2024 as well. So we had 2021 incident, 2022's incident. There was also a 2023 incident, so after the fact, and a 2024 incident.
With the same person.
Same person.
Oh my God.
I know.
And she's still allowed to have animals.
I know. So I'm going to start with the case in July of 2023, or 20. I'm sorry, 2021. There's so many dates in here. And actually, I want to go. Okay, that's all I have, so I'll just go with that. On July 1st, at approximately 1600 hours, I received a call from a reporting party regarding 2 dead dogs by a dumpster in an alleyway of 2751 Monroe Street. That's in Denver, Colorado. And these were 2, like dumpsters that you would see like by an apartment building. She stated the dogs were laying there on their backs, um, but she didn't see any injuries. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see some of the photos. The dogs are pretty bloated. It's pretty disgusting. So just a disclaimer if you are watching. Upon arrival, saw the dogs right there, right in front of those dumpsters. One dog, tan and white, female pit bull, and the other dog was gray, intact, male pit bull. Dogs were bloated and smell of decay. Appeared to have been dead for at least 24 hours. Both dogs were wearing a collar, which had short, approximately 4-foot leash attached to them. The collar did not have tags, were extremely tight around the neck and the dogs because they were bloated. I scanned the dogs, obviously, for the microchip, but didn't find one. So I was like, shit, I'm never going to find these people. And there was also a black wire kennel, sounds familiar, close to the dogs, in a trash bag around one of the legs of the dog. So there was a trash bag also near the dog that appeared to like have been thrown out with the dogs. And if I could ever ask the gods for a gift, that gift would have come on July 1st of 2021. Because in that trash bag, there were diapers and would appear to be some dog kibble, along with other pieces of garbage. There was also some mail in the garbage bag. And sure enough, that piece of mail had an address listed on it. I checked our database and found that this officer that used to work there very shortly, this officer was not a good fit for animal control. Very short-tempered and just not a team player whatsoever. I found that officer, and he was a rookie at the time, like he didn't have much experience. And the thing that sucked about him is you couldn't talk to him. Like he was like, you're not my boss. Like, that like courtesy as like trying to have difficult conversations with your team. Like, hey, I know I'm not your boss, but like, just something to keep in mind. Like when you're out there, do this just because it's going to help our cases in the future. That he took a lot of offense to that. He was like, you don't get to tell me nothing. So I found, based on the address on that piece of paper in the bag, and I do want to mention, I also went around and looked at any security cameras in the area that I could find, but I couldn't find anything. I just want to add that to the investigation piece. But that piece of mail ended up being perfect. So that officer went out to the property on June 29th. So I was on scene July 1st. He was out there June 29th. He spoke with the woman. That's the same woman from the apartment. Same woman. He went out there for a report of 2 dogs being left in her car. Guess what he didn't do when he met with the woman?
Check on the dogs.
Say again?
Check on the dogs.
Kinda. They were tied up. So the dogs, when he arrived, the dogs were tethered to the patio, not in the vehicle. And so he closed, but did not complete the call. How did he close it, Daniel? That's a great question, Bishops. I'm so glad you asked. He never got the name of the woman. Didn't even get her name. Just as like, we got to report your dogs being in your car. I guess they're out of your car. Just don't do it again. Um, he said he got there was the same dogs that the description was correct. So the tan and gray pit bulls. He didn't get their name, age, sex, anything. He just said, hey, please don't leave your dog in the car. And that was it. Like that, that could have been instrumental
Mm-hmm.
in everything else if he did get her name because she could come back and argue that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It goes to show people, make sure call notes, even if you don't think it's relevant, it could be relevant later. You just
Mhm.
never absolutely know.
Absolutely. So, um, there was a witness to that call, initially where the dogs were left in the Jeep, and you can see photos of this Jeep.
Mhm.
The witness stated on June 28th, he observed two dogs barking in the back of an older gray Jeep Cherokee. Now, in June in Denver, we're talking 90 to 100 degrees. Easy. Direct sunlight, it's hardly ever cloudy there. It is hot. The Jeep was parked in the corner of 28th Place and Neil Ave. He stated that he called Denver Animal Protection to report the dogs on June 29th. So again, it happened at approximately 6:50 hours, so early in the morning. He claimed on the evening the dogs were back in the Jeep. So after that officer just went there and dismissed the case, he closed the case. He didn't complete the case. Dogs were back in the Jeep. He heard them bark throughout the night and into the morning of June 30th. He did not see or hear the dogs the following day. Um, where the dogs were found were next to a church in an alley. And I checked the cameras, as I mentioned. I went to the address of that piece of mail to see if I could talk to the suspect. And ironically, if you look at these photos, I the inside of the house there, which is obviously a different apartment from where I met her 6 months down the road, looked similar inside if you look through the windows. Just unkempt, very disheveled inside of the home. It was a fourplex. Again, knocked on the door, couldn't hear anybody. Um, saw that it was pretty gross. I then checked the Colorado State Court website to see if there are any prior violations for the person that the suspect, who has a very unique name. And I was like, you know what? Let me just see. I found that she was on probation. I was like, great. I will contact her probation officer. He gave me a secondary address for her. And that address was, unfortunately, I mean, I get it. People go through some hard times. It was a drug rehab center. So she's having some problems. They also provided me a phone number for, I believe it was her mother, or maybe it could have been her too. Because I eventually I call the suspect and she agreed to meet with me at the shelter. That was July 3rd to discuss the case. And I'm not saying this I'm not saying this to seem mean. I just want to set the I just want to set the picture of who we're dealing with. And like, she was very unkempt and like, her hygiene was very poor. Like she stunk up the room that we were in so bad. I'll never forget that smell. It was pretty disgusting. So I felt bad, like in that aspect. But we still have a job to do. Just because other aspects in your life are not, you know, in great working conditions doesn't mean like you're
You can treat
exact.
animals poorly.
Yeah, exactly. So I met with her at the shelter. Um, I I said, hey, you want to speak with me in the lobby or the conference room, which was more private. She elected to go to the conference room. So that's that whole like, I'm not detaining. Like I can't detain, but I don't want people to think that like they're, hey, would you want to speak here? Like you're free to go at any time. So she didn't make any comments under the pretense that she was being like or whatever that word would be. She claimed she didn't know what happened to the dog. She claimed that she found the dogs deceased in her car on July 1st. It's dead. She claimed a man named G, I'll just say that, put the dogs in her vehicle, some dude named G. She stated that she did not have any contact information for him and stated he was no longer in Colorado. Very convenient. Uh,
Mm.
she did not claim ownership of the dogs, but stated the gray dog was an intact male and the female, they're just names for them. Um, I asked her when the dogs came to her house, and she said just a few days ago. I asked her if she recalled meeting the rookie officer that I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to drag them under the bus anymore. They're no longer in this field and deservedly so. She stated that she didn't recall the visit. She stated that he told her, wait, she stated that she didn't recall his visit. She then stated that he told her that he received a complaint of the dogs being left in her Jeep. She claimed that the dogs were never in her car prior to his visit. She stated that she brought the dogs into her daughter's room after the officer left. She stated that both dogs were bleeding from their nose while they were in her daughter's room. It's weird. She stated she left her apartment for approximately 2 hours from 10:45 to 12:45 in a different vehicle with her mother. She claimed when she returned, the dogs were back in the vehicle. They just jumped in there. She wasn't clear if they were alive at that time. She claimed her father later advised her that there were flies all around her Jeep and that when she noticed that they were dead at that point, she seemed confused since she was the only one who had a key to her house and didn't know how the dogs made it into her Jeep. She was not clear and seemed to contradict herself. It seemed that she knew the dogs were in a Jeep and alive, but then retracted and claimed that she saw them dead when her father noticed the flies around there on the 29th, which doesn't add up because the RP said it was the 30th. She stated that she noticed the dogs dead on July 1st. Last part of this entry, she stated after she found the dogs dead, she didn't know what to do. I asked her why she didn't call us, and she said she didn't want to get in trouble. She claimed that she disposed the dogs herself and took them to the dumpster where I found them. I issued her a general violation summons for, again, as I mentioned earlier, those counts of neglect, dog and car, etc. On July 3rd, as I was continuing my investigation, this is July 3rd now, I found the dogs on July 1st. I found the Jeep, and this is pretty critical too. At that corner, the vehicle was missing a rear window, so the rear window was gone. There were still flies in the Jeep, and it smelled like decaying flesh, just as the dog smelled like when I picked them up 2 days prior. So there you have that piece that was connected earlier, 6 months earlier, to the case of negligence and cruelty from that piece. So it all was like a flash in my head while I'm on scene at this address. And what I didn't get a chance to say yet, I'll never forget this part. So I mentioned that how that cop was dismissive and didn't really work the case as like somebody that I would expect in that moment. He did eventually apologize to me as we left, and he said, "Hey man, I'm sorry. Like I was just in my own space. I wanted to go home, but now I realize it now because they opened up a child welfare case because of the living conditions for that 2-year-old." And so we left on good terms, which made my heart warm. It made me happy that happened. And I hope he looks at animal cases a little bit differently now.
They're usually all interconnected, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a link.
Huh? There is a link. Yeah, there is a link. And then there's 2 other cases that happened after. I kind of want to read them, but I feel like I've kept you guys too long today. So should we tune in for part 2 of this?
I think we're going to need to because you still need to go through the conditions of the dogs and what happened after that. There's still 2 more pages of your report left, sir.
I know, and I feel bad because people are like, this is a longer episode, folks. So tune in for part 2. We're just going to leave it at that and come back for episode 2 of this just crazy Black Mirror style case with the 4 dogs. Now she's up to 6 dogs, but then it gets more and more. So please, again, check back for the next installments of the Keep It Humane podcast with some crazy twists and turns as we go.
Also, take a look at that clutter image rating scale. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I didn't know this existed, and it's a useful tool, y'all.
Also, wait, tell me you got ADHD without telling me you got ADHD. You know what somebody put in the chat?
What?
The weather. I'm just calling her out. Was that you, Wisconsin Bishop?
Yeah.
Why are you putting the weather in there? What's going on?
That's the weather on June 20, 2001 or 2021.
Wait, you found the weather from the day?
Yeah.
Oh. So
Weather
that's
Underground, you can do history on. I've used it in cases.
that's really cool. So that's what day was that for?
June 29th.
So that's the day they initially were in the car, which wasn't too hot, but 70 degrees in direct sunlight is hot in Denver. I will tell you that much.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Well,
We're so close to the sun.
and they say too, like a light colored car, which it was a gray car, so it could be, I would say, not quite a light color, um, rises 1 degree per minute
Mm,
in sunlight.
mm,
So, that it's going to be significantly hotter in the vehicle than it is.
for
But
sure.
yeah, Weather Underground, you can do a history lookup for any day, and it'll
That's
give
awesome.
you.
And here I thought you were putting your weather up there because it's so bipolar.
No,
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 you
no,
were doing work. Like she
I
was getting it
was.
in. I want to say this case taught me a lot. This was like that epiphany moment of, again, why we complete and not close calls. Like this was that, whoa. And you'll have to tune in next time we do this, which just check back, make sure you're following the podcast so you can see when part 2 pops up because there's some fun twists and turns. But yeah, there's like, look, I get it. We all have bad days. Like that cop was maybe having a bad day, but he changed his tune. Like, um, there's opportunities for us to continue to grow as a profession and grow professionally as ourselves. And I did a lot of growing up that day for sure.
This case will do
Yeah.
it to you, that's for sure. It's always awful to have children involved as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My first major case as supervisor in the field dealt with 4 children, and
Mhm.
it's tough. It's tough. And that situation was like a 7-8 on the clutter image scale. It
Yeah,
was bad. It was bad.
it's bad stuff. Well, any other thoughts or comments before we shut it down for this week?
Call notes. Like I tell our team,
Mm.
call notes, call notes, call notes, guys. You never know when you can, something like this happens, how Dan went through it. He could have made that connection maybe a little bit sooner if he hadn't gotten lucky. But I mean, again, right, if you know the name of the dog, you know what color it is, you know that it had a blue collar at the time or whatever, your call notes, guys. It will help you in the future. You just never know what's going to happen. Animals live for a long time, and that small connection could be a doozy.
And
And along
so,
with call
yeah, yeah.
notes, if you have access to BOM,
If you have,
always
say that
have
again,
it
because
on.
your connections, she froze. Oh, there you are. Say it again. Oh, she's still frozen. Sorry, Bishop. Are you back?
I don't know, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Say it again. Sorry.
Okay. I was just saying, if you have body cam,
Uh,
all body cam on, I had a case that dog was only there for 2 or 3 days, and come to find out 3 months prior, dude was arrested, and I had video of the dog in the house.
yeah.
So you never know what those little bits will do between call notes and body cam.
And the other thing I want to say, those call notes are the reason they're so important is I don't know if I'd ever got there. If there wasn't that piece of mail, that, smoking gun,
Mm-hmm.
what I would have done though is I would have pulled up calls in that general area
Mm-hmm.
and started looking through anything recent for violations. So there is a chance I would have gotten lucky. I just wish that officer was more detailed when he went out there and got her name, got the dog's information, maybe took some photographs. Like that motherfucker. I hope I see that man one day just so I can just say like my choice words to him. Sorry. Happy Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, though. Please check out our website, keepithumane.com. Check out our socials, Keep It Humane, everywhere there are socials. And thanks for listening. Let's continue to
Help people.
Help animals.
Keep It Humane.